my name is Janae. I run an account on Instagram as well as on YouTube called Prepared Like a Mother. And on that account, I just basically try and make emergency preparedness super simple, super fun, super doable. I just try and help the unprepared become prepared has become my motto and my catchphrase, because really preparedness is super easy. It's really pretty simple and self-explanatory. It's just a lot of times it can get really overwhelming because there's so much information out there. So I'm just here to show you what I do to try and help you think through the process instead of telling you what to do. I try and help you think through different situations and scenarios so that way you can kind of think for yourself. Today I wanted to talk about water storage, not water filters. Water filters are a whole nother ballgame that I'll get to in a different video and at a different time. Today I just want to talk about water storage. Okay. FEMA and the American Red Cross, most government agencies suggest you have a gallon of water per person per day in the event of an emergency where you don't have running water. That is really a pretty lofty goal. I feel like it's not really something that is attainable. Mostly because you're going to need a lot more water than a gallon of water per person per day. Just to kind of give you an idea of how much water you're going to need, the average adult is supposed to consume about a gallon of water a day anyways, and that's going to be dependent on their activity level. It's going to be dependent on if it's hot outside, you're going to need more. To flush your toilets without water, you need a gallon of water to shove down your toilet. So you need so much more than a gallon of water per person per day. I'll kind of explain what I have for me and my family. Let's just go and I'll explain it along the way. I have my two favorite ways to store water, especially for starting out and everything, are these two items right here. This is a 5-gallon container of water. I really like this because, it's still heavy, it's still 42 pounds, but it's not giant like the 55-gallon drums are. I can stick this in the bottom of my pantry or the bottom of my closets, or just kind of sneak it in places. So it's not super, super bulky. With this, I also add this water preserver. I'm pretty sure it's flipped because my camera's flipped backwards as I'm doing this video. But it's just water preserver concentrate. I think that's even the brand, if I remember right. Waterpreserver.com. I buy this on Amazon. One of these will do a 55-gallon drum of water, or it's 40 drops for every 5-gallon container of water that you have. I am working on getting an Amazon storefront, and I'll put this in there just under water storage when that gets up and running. So I like to have one of these per person and per animal if your animal needs a lot of water. So for me, I have a giant lab, and he's huge and he needs a lot of water. So I plan on having one of these for him as well. I also, per person in my house, like to have these water bottles. I usually get them at Costco. Sometimes I just pick them up whenever I feel like I need them. We also rotate through these a lot because we have soccer games, baseball games, camping, school, all of these different things that we rotate through these water bottles fairly regularly. One flat of water is 3 gallons. I think the ones from Costco are 4.5 gallons of water. So if you have one of these for each member of your house, then you're going to have about 8 to 9 gallons of water per person in your house. And I would dare say, if you're rationing your water out well and you're doing well, that 9 gallons of water should last a person, I would say probably 4 to 5 days, depending on how well you're doing with water. So that's what I suggest. Just to start out. Instead of doing a gallon of water per person per day, I would really suggest doing like a 5-gallon water jug and a case of water per person per day. One more thing with these, they don't last a long time. You couldn't really put these out and have them last for 5 years. They might last for 5 years. Whereas cheap, flimsy plastic, it doesn't have water preservers in it. I would make sure I'm rotating through it on a regular basis. The other thing that I do, and this is kind of how I started with my water preparation when I was first married and I didn't have any kids, was I started with just filling up juice containers and filling up soda containers and things like that. The problem with these is that, I mean, you can clean them, you can bleach them, you can do everything, but it's still not really going to be a great long-term solution. You want to make sure that you're refilling the water, even if you put water preserver in it. I wouldn't risk it. But I would use these for cleaning purposes, for washing your hair, for flushing your toilets, for cleaning, just around your house or wherever your prep sites and stuff. So I would use this kind of water for that. I would not use this for drinking water unless I was running it through a water filter first. With these, I always put the date on this, so I filled this in March of 2019. So this is a few years old. I'm actually getting to a point now where I want to get rid of my juice containers and just move them all to these containers because they're less bulky. 5 of these will not contain into something like this as far as space-wise go. So this is what I did when I was first prepping. It works great. Some water's better than no water. I would just not drink it without filtering it first, because no matter how clean it is, you just don't know how good of water it really is to consume. The last thing you want is to be in an emergency situation and then get sick. That's the last thing we want, is you getting sick off of your water. The last thing that I do as far as water preps, actually second to last thing that I do, is this container right here. I did a reel on Instagram, a food storage reel on Instagram that went pretty viral. I was actually shocked. It must have hit the algorithm perfect because it just sent a lot of people to me. But I got so much hate off of this gallon of water because it's flimsy plastic, it's cheap, it's not great, it's not going to last a long time. However, I don't store this for a long time. This isn't this. If you're storing water for a long time, it has to be in something like this with water preservers. The reason I have this, like I said, I have a big dog. And this will be easier to fill than individually opening a water bottles for him. This is also going to be easier if I need a whole bunch of drinking water or for like washing hands or something like that. I could probably use this to wash hands. It would just kind of depend on the situation. But this is not for long-term storage. This is for very short-term storage. It was bottled April 2021, and it's best by April 23. I plan on using it by the expiration date. That's what it is on here. Because I know that this water is not something that's a long-term prep. So, the last water container that, for obvious reasons, I couldn't bring it in the house, and it's in my garage, and I'm not going to show you my messy garage, is a 55-gallon drum of waters. Or a 55-gallon drum of water is not waters. Sorry, I squirrel. If you've watched any video, you know that, and I don't know how to edit videos yet. We're working on that process as well. But back to not squirreling. 55-gallon drums of water. They are great. They hold a lot of water. They're your best long-term solution for water. The problem is they are bulky and they are heavy. So you are going to it has to basically live in one place. You can buy bigger ones. You can buy like 250-gallon water tanks, and I think that would be awesome. I just don't have anywhere to put it. So 55-gallon drums, they're pretty affordable. I think you can buy them used. If they're used, make sure they're cleaned out really, really well. If they are new, they're, I think, about $50 to $60, depending on where you buy them. But that will obviously hold your most amount of water for the longest amount of time. And with that, you'll need like a pump to get the water out. That was me pumping my water. But yeah, that is what I do for water storage. That's what where I suggest you start. Obviously, the better, because you don't know how long you're going to be without water. And water is incredibly important. So if you're just starting out, if you're new, if you're overwhelmed and you're like, I don't know what to do, this is horrible, well, that's where I would start. I would start with 5 gallons and a case of water per person per day. Or not per person per day. 5-gallon water, a case of water per person in your house, and then build up from there. And if you like this video, like, share, subscribe. That would be great. That helps me grow and that helps me reach more people. And yeah, that's really the goal of this whole page and video is to reach a lot of people, because right now in the chaos of the world, I think it is vitally important that we are all prepping and storing food and water and everything, because it's getting crazy out there. But that's all I have for today. I hope you have a good day, and thank you.